Tampa Bay Jewish Film Festival. You're going to see some amazing films coming up in the whole production. Tonight, two great films. One, you're going to see one from a local girl. I know she has her own fan club here tonight, so she's not nervous at all. No, not at all. But tonight, before we get to our star of the show, if you will, Miss Allie, we'll talk to her a little bit later on and have a chance to have Q&A about being a director, being a producer, being a writer. This evening, we're very fortunate to have someone with us. Someone with us who is amongst our community here in Tampa Bay. Someone who is amongst our community as part of a friend, who's made a difference here, who went to school here, who knows all about Tampa Bay. And she truly fits this description tonight. Our filmmaker tonight that we're highlighting, you'll get to meet after her film. She was raised in Tampa, but now she resides in Burbank, near Los Angeles. As part of her master's program at the University of Southern California's prestigious film school, from which she graduated last year, she also co-wrote, produced, and by the way, also directed The Maiden and the Princess. It's a very inspiring short film, something you'll get to enjoy here tonight. It's captured the hearts and the minds of people all across this very country of ours, and it's been shown in numerous film festivals over the past many, many months. It's also won a jury award, a very distinguished award, if you will, from the Directors Guild of America. And tonight, we'll watch her very intriguing movie, something that we'll get a chance to meet with her a little bit later after the film and ask her questions. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you our feature film from our independent artist of this evening, The Maiden and the Princess. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to introduce to you someone who spoke volumes for volumes of people. Someone who co-wrote, produced, and directed the amazing film you just saw. My new friend, I proudly introduce to you Miss Allie Shirt.
Casting is always my favorite part of the movie, and we actually were having a lot of trouble with the casting, and then we got this amazing casting director who, she cast like the Ellen show back in the day, and she just really loved the script, and she signed on to cast, and she got us David Anders and Julian Sands, which was huge, but like the big problem was like finding a little British girl in Los Angeles. And we got to the point where she was like, we saw so many kids and so many awful accents, and it was hard to sit through, and we got to the point where she's like, you've got 1 week to find one, I give up. If you want to do it, you've got 1 week to find one, and then we're just making Emmy's World America. And so I went online and I joined a bunch of like British meetup groups, like Expatriate Unite, and I would go to these like meetups at bars and just go up to random people and be like, do you have any children? And one of them had just moved there, and she was just like, oh, I do, I have a daughter, you should meet her. She's wonderful. And so she'd never acted before, so it was a really fun experience to have with her. Yep.
What building was used for the opening sequence at the school?
At the school, it was elementary school in downtown Los Angeles. It was really hard to find a playground with no green grass on it and a red brick building in Los Angeles. That was one of the harder locations we had to find.
What about the other locations? Where else did we shoot?
Well, the fairy tale world is all shot on a golf course because because that was the only green grass we could find in Los Angeles. And rolling hills and trees and stuff. Nothing else like that. And then the council world, all of that was filmed on sound stages. So like, except for the pipe shot, which was, you know, in between the floorboards, and that was shot in a classroom with miniatures. And the house stuff was shot at a house in Los Angeles that was just a crappy house that we just production designed. Put up fancy wallpaper.
How long did it take for you from beginning to end?
From like the writing process to the final showing, like a year and a half, probably. Yeah, that's a long one.
What sort of challenges other than finding your star you faced as a student filmmaker?
Well, the school creates all these challenges for you already. Like, you have to go through this process they call the green light process, which is what you have to do at the studios too, but it's not really the director's responsibility to get past all those hurdles. So you have to meet with the head of every department and get everything approved, and you have to have all this crazy paperwork in order. Crewing up is always hard, like finding the people that you want to work with and then finding like good ones and getting them to commit their time for no money, because you don't have much money on these sort of things. And then locations is a pain in the ass. Finding locations, getting somebody to monitor you while you were there so that you don't screw up the location. And finding green grass in Los Angeles was really hard. And I don't know why it took us so long to figure out the golf course, but they shot Twilight on that same golf course. Yep.
How does this experience change what you want to do next?
Change what I want to do next? I don't know if the project itself had an impact on what I was going to do next. I always assumed that I was going to do a feature next, and I still feel pretty strongly about that. And I've got a couple of things in the works, so hopefully a feature will be coming soon. Not of this, a different feature. Yep.
Is your goal to get children to this community, and how are you going to do that?
Yeah, I mean, getting it to the school systems would be really great. We've gotten some people who have interest already at the moment. We've got it into some colleges, some suicide prevention programs that have been requesting the material. We can't really do anything with it other than like online or giving it out for public showing until the festival circuit is over, which is a year long, so we're about 6 months in. And it's been going really well, so we don't want to cut that off too soon. Hi, Linda.
Right there. She's been raising her hand the whole time.
Alan, do you wish there were movies like this when you were growing up to help you and people who grew up in small towns who might have felt a little different?
You know, that's something that I hear like at every festival that we go to. Is someone comes up to me afterward with like crying, like I wish this had been around when I was a kid. And I do wish this had been. I was lucky. I had really great parents, so I'm a lucky one. But there are a lot of people who aren't, and so I think it's important that films like this start to get made. And with this film, I wanted to tell a story about a frustrated narrator who felt like they were being kept down by the man, you know. And I wanted a story, and the story was what the film was going to be about, you know. And it was such an easy go-to, and so I'm really glad it turned out the way it did, that people are responding to it so well.
How do students like yourself find funding for these films?
Oh, I didn't hear because I was...
Are you planning to show this at any film festivals coming up in New York, your city?
Oh, I'd love to. We showed something in Rochester, but there's a lot of New York film festivals, but there's some that require premieres, so we like hold out for like Tribeca and the New York City International Film Festival, so those are still hopefully to come. And then Nancy. Last one, sorry.
I was just going to ask, how do young filmmakers like yourself or students find funding?
It's not easy. I know a lot of people take out loans and go into even more debt than they did on this, but thanks to a lot of people in the audience, we ran a pretty good fundraising campaign. I sent out letters to pretty much everybody. We did a Kickstarter campaign when we got it to post to raise the final amount, but it's just reaching out to the people you know and also to the groups that might support what you're doing and trying to find funding that way. And then we had a couple of really good producers on the project who helped us get a lot of things for great cost. We had the fancy honey wagon on set that he got us for free because the guy who ran the honey wagon service was gay and loved the script. So you can get a lot of things if you have a message, you know. So it's a good lesson. Thank you guys so much for coming in.
DVDs for sale afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, Allie Sure, she did such a great job.